Welcome to East Turkestan TV News. East Turkestan leader Xi Jinping Uyghur region visit may signal more brutal campaign. Breitbart News. Chinese Communist dictator Xi Jinping's visit to the capital of occupied East Turkestan, the Uyghur heartland last week, may be the precursor to more brutal campaign against its native population. Salih Hudayar, the Prime Minister of the East Turkestan Government-in-Exile, told Breitbart News. Salih Hudayar also serves as the founder and the president of the East Turkestan National Awakening Movement, an organization dedicated to restoring sovereignty to the region. The East Turkestan Republic was a sovereign state colonized by Mao Zedong's Communist China after the mass assassination of its leadership in 1949. Today, the Communist Party administers East Turkestan under the Mandarin language name Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region. Xi initiated a campaign of genocide shortly after taking over the country in 2014, but the violence escalated to the construction and the populating of concentration camps throughout the region in 2017. Today, extensive research by human rights experts and journalists, relying on leaked documents and eyewitness accounts, indicates that Xi has imprisoned as many as 3 million people in concentration camps, implemented a mass sterilization campaign against Uyghur and other non-Han women, and enslaved vast swath of the region's male population. China openly boasts about some of these programs, for example by branding the mass sterilization a victory for feminism. Experts at Special Tribunal in 2021 concluded that Han-dominated Communist China was, beyond a reasonable doubt, guilty of genocide against Uyghurs, Kazakhs, Kyrgyz, and other people of East Turkestan. Last week, Xi made his first visit in 8 years to East Turkestan, spending most of the week enjoying stage dance and art performances, speaking to local communist leaders, and promoting his philosophy of ethnic unity between Han Chinese and East Turkestan's population. Hudayar told Breitbart News that Xi's last visit coincided with the tremendous increase in violence that preceded the debut of the concentration camps. Xi Jinping visited East Turkestan after 8 years. The last time he visited East Turkestan, in May 2014, the Chinese government launched its ongoing campaign of genocide officially known as the People's War, Hudayar explained. Historically, all trips to East Turkestan by Chinese presidents, CCP general secretaries, are a precursor to more brutal campaign to colonize and assimilate East Turkestan and its people, while solidifying Chinese occupation and rule, he continued. We expect that things will get a lot worse, as she stated that security measures in East Turkestan should become regular. In other words, the Chinese government is stating that the genocide of Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples will continue until China has obtained its full objective, Hudayar explained. The phrase People's War has profound significance to Communist China, typically indicating an extermination campaign against populations the Communists deem unacceptable. Mao Zedong first launched a People's War against the middle and upper classes as part of his initial bid to take over the country. That war would eventually evolve into the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution, mass starvation policies, and the Communist purge that led to death of at least 40 million people. Xi first used the term People's War in 2014 as a rebrand of the alleged war on terror occurring in the nation's west. The Communist Party has insisted for decades that since the population of East Turkestan is majority Muslim, it's vulnerable to radical jihadist terrorism and Beijing needs to employ a heavy hand to subdue it. China's concerns about jihadist violence appear to end at its borders. However, it remains friendly ties with the radical Islamic leaders in Taliban-run Afghanistan and Islamic countries like Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Xi Jinping's recent visit was to oversee the results of Chinese government's campaign, as well as send signal to international community that its condemnations, sanctions, and economic boycotts are not going to deter China from continuing its atrocities against Uyghurs and other Turkic peoples, Hudayar explained. It's important to note that Xi Jinping again emphasized the need to create a united Chinese nation and urged local cadres to tightly hold on the goal of maintaining social stability and political stability. We have heard reports that Xi Jinping also promised further funding to build more camps across East Turkestan, Hodar added. China's state media arms hailed Xi's visit as a victory for ethnic unity in East Turkestan, which the communist regime typically uses to mean the replacement of native population in the region with the Han majority in the rest of China. President Xi Jinping's remarks on the importance of ethnic unity and fostering a strong sense of community for the Chinese nation during his visit to Xinjiang Autonomous Region have made people in the region feel more confident, the state-run China Daily claimed. That by standing together and cherishing ethnic unity, Xinjiang will become more prosperous and they will have a better life. She reportedly described ethnic unity as a lifeline for the entire Chinese people. China is a unified multi-ethnic country, with the Chinese people of all ethnic groups united in diversity being a silent feature. Ethnic theories and policies in the country are sound and effective, she said during the visit to the university, according to China Daily. What's more, China, a country with ethnic unity, is invincible and will have bright future, he added. The state newspaper emphasized, however, that any ethnic identity had to be subordinate to the strong sense of community for the Chinese nation under the Communist Party. The Xi regime has used ethnic unity as shorthand for genocide occurring both in the concentration camps and within the homes of civilians in East Turkestan. Among the most notorious programs in Communist Party has implemented in the region is something called Becoming Family, in which the government forces local civilians to take in Han relatives to live in their homes, forcing them to speak Mandarin, abandon their religion, and adopt Han Chinese culture. Often, the families targeted for these programs have lost all the men in their family to the concentration camps, and the government forces the matriarch in the home to sleep in the same bed with the Han relative. Survivor testimony indicates that sexual assault is rampant in the program, in addition to rupture it causes between the adult in the family and the children, who are weaponized as spies against their parents. An alleged local in Urumqi, a capital of East Turkestan, appeared in China Daily's coverage praising Xi's visit last week. I believe that with people from different ethnic groups in East Turkestan, so-called Xinjiang, standing together and cherishing ethnic unity, the region will become more prosperous and we will have a better life, the individual, identified as Ablet Tursun, allegedly said. Ultaber from East Turkestan TV News reported.